Ladies and gentlemen, Ron DeSantis tried to attack Trump, and of course it didn't work out. The media is saying that it was full of prejudice and a despicable attempt at going after Trump. I'm not going to really explain the background of the ad, but you can just say that DeSantis tried to go after Trump for saying that he would treat all Americans equally. Yet again, Trump never gets any respect or credit for the good things that he's done, the wonderful things that he said, but it didn't work out for DeSantis. Now, DeSantis slammed over Trump attack at NPR. NBC News, DeSantis campaign shares an anti-Trump video that has drawn criticism. The Hill, DeSantis faces GOP pushback for anti-Trump ad. And so this is just yet another example of his campaign. He's basically dropped out of contention. So yesterday I did a segment. He's out of contention. His campaign is winding down, so to speak. You can say, well, that's not true. It's just a misstep. There's a long way to go. There is no Republican Party, okay? The Republican Party is Donald Trump. That's it. The Democratic Party is a political machine, a modern-day Tammany Hall. They could put a house cat, a plant, a fern, Fetterman, or mashed potato brains our president, and it'll be all good. You could put an inanimate object as a Democratic candidate, and the ladies at The View and Hollywood and social media algorithms would protect the inanimate object. They don't need a functioning human being. They just need a human being or somebody sentient, or they could probably get an AI robot, and that AI robot would win as a Democrat. Okay? So, again, if you heard Fetterman and Biden on a hot mic, you'd have a better chance deciphering whale sounds. So, they don't really need a candidate. They cheated Bernie Sanders, and they don't even have a primary. They blamed another country for finding out that Bernie Sanders was railroaded. You're talking about very gullible, naive individuals who react with this Pavlovian response to not just hyperbole, euphemisms and buzzwords and marketing and public relations. The Democratic motto is basically follow the leader or adhere to a fabricated consensus that ignores any criticism or dissent and silences and disparages any dissent. So, what is DeSantis doing? You have the entire American political establishment, a very corrupt and weak and ineffective Republican Party that really is trying to hold on to some of the Republican Party, a small group within the GOP, want Paul Ryan or Mitt Romney or a good Republican that media will respect. That will never happen again. So what is DeSantis doing? Who is he trying to pander to? I like DeSantis as a governor, but he hasn't really... There's no DeSantis dossier. I don't want a DeSantis dossier, but they have they paid for a Steele dossier that Clinton was fined for by the FEC. But New York never indicted Clinton. Interesting. Clinton and the DNC were fined for the Steele dossier. Federal FEC is part of the federal government, and they fined Clinton and the DNC. Okay. You have loyalists within intel agencies going after Trump. You have the entire American political establishment against Trump. What does DeSantis hope to gain? Of course, every step he takes is a misstep now. He can't. So the reason that he is popular and hit subscribe to this channel right now, I like DeSantis, but I don't like what he's doing. He's not doing himself any favors. He's not going to wrestle control of the Republican Party from Trump because Trump is the Republican Party. Paul Ryan, the Lincoln Project, these people are Democrats now. They're not Republicans, so that you would think they're not conservative. There's not one thing really conservative about them, from the Second Amendment to the conservative view on foreign policy is an anti-interventionist foreign policy. They're not even that. They are you want to call them one party or, basically a single party, the Democratic and Republican Party, okay? But hit subscribe to this channel right now to read my writing on the Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, and other publications. Go to hagoodman.com. It's been a while since I've had an article published, but I've just been, burnt out from writing all those years, and I enjoyed, the YouTube channel successful, thank God, and hit subscribe. Go to, like I said, hagoodman.com, but become a member. Super thanks is below. And also, my Patreon is below. Thank you. DeSantis has no chance unless there's, God forbid, some kind of catastrophe or insidious, unforeseen, sinister thing that takes place, heaven forbid. Other than that, there's no chance that DeSantis takes the GOP nomination. He's trying to run for 28. But in doing so, and he's trying to build a base of support so he can become vice president. The problem is that you build a base of support to become vice president. I mean, that might work for DeSantis. It might be Trump DeSantis. I would like Trump RFK Jr. Doing these segments, I don't think a lot of people like them, but a lot of people are like, I don't know. RFK Jr. will never be accepted by the Democratic Party, today's Democratic Party. He'll be cheated just like they did with Bernie Sanders. They'll never in a million years allow him to win, even if he's up over Biden or anyone else in a primary that's completely dysfunctional and completely a farce and a theatrical performance anyway. They don't even have a functioning, Democrats don't even have a functioning primary, yet they pontificate about democracy. But anyway, DeSantis has no chance, in large part because he doesn't really have a campaign that, he doesn't really have a place, like he doesn't have he's either like Trump or not like Trump. The reason he's popular is that he reminds people of Trump. He doesn't care about media. He goes after the most, fanatical, apoplectic, left-leaning activists. These are good things. The problem is that, yes, he's like Trump. He does his thing, and he doesn't care about the media onslaught, and he goes after media, and that's good. But then if you kind of, straddle the fence when it comes to the U.S. government going after their direct political rival, and I say the U.S. government, I say Democrats and the Republican Party going after Trump, the Democratic Party and a lot of the Republican Party being silent or even siding with Democrats. These indictments are purely political. They say nobody's above the law. Well, Hunter and Joe and Hillary, with private servers siphoning top secret intelligence outside the U.S. government, not only illegal, the greatest dilemma, threat to national security you could ever think of is having a Secretary of State with private servers. If Trump had private servers, they would accuse him of selling secrets to finance hotels. But with Hillary, God forbid, we could never say that. Anyway, by the way, I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee. Did I tell you that? I don't know how, but I think so, for the Democratic Party. But you tell me below, is there any chance that DeSantis has? I don't think DeSantis has a chance, like a zero chance. They say he's like 40, 50, 60 points behind Trump. 30 or 40, depending. But Trump was indicted and went up above DeSantis and increased his lead within the Republican field. If DeSantis was indicted, it would probably be the same thing. But if DeSantis dealt with everything Trump has dealt with, that would be a different story. He hasn't. And he's going after a man, instead of running for president this time around, he should have just waited. He should have just waited, because look what's taking place. He has an ad against Trump. He lost support by sitting on the fence regarding the indictment. Anything he does, he doesn't have to show allegiance to Trump, but he has to show Trump voters that he's less militant than Trump, which he hasn't shown, and that his economic plan will bring us record low poverty, even lower poverty numbers than Trump. We had record low poverty with Trump. That should be the reason every left-leaning person that has any issue with the Democratic Party votes for Trump. We had a record low poverty with Trump, record highs in household median income. There's zero rebuttal to that from anyone. He had a great economy and a great foreign policy. Well, at least a much better foreign policy than what we see, infinitely better than what we see today. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.